Emily Mortimer, it's good to see you again.
It's so nice to see you, Tony.
I think the last time we talked was Relic. What a scary, wonderful film that was.
Thank you so much. Yes, I was very proud of that one.
And I am so. My first question is, I know you as an actress, and you're a marvelous actress, but a director and screenwriter. Are those new hats you're wearing?
I think. Well, I did direct and write this. Yes, so yes.
Is it hard taking a novel, and this novel has been around for a while, I think since 1941, and taking that to the screen? Is it a tough job?
I really got a kick out of it. I felt that the writing was so entertaining, and I could see how it would, translate quite easily in a way. It's hard work. It requires an awful lot of sort of man hours, mm-hmm. but it wasn't one of those things that sort of weighed on me at night. It felt sort of pleasurable partly because the material is so kind of irreverent and funny, and there's something quite radical in a way about the voice of the writer. So I felt there was something kind of joyful about the process, I suppose, right from the beginning all through to the end.
There must be also some kind of a great blessing to working with a cast, including Lily James, who I think can do anything.
Yes, I agree with you. I think Lily James is just an extremely brilliant actress. And, sometimes when an actor or an actress are so sort of, wonderful to look at and so kind of charming as performers, you kind of tend that their actual sort of skill is overlooked a little bit. And I think that it can't be missed in this performance that Lily gives. It's just an undeniably brilliant performance, and with incredible sort of depth and scope, and she her life takes so many turns, and she becomes so many different people. She escapes from one part of her life into another part of her life by kind of becoming a different person. And Lily inhabits all these different characters and with such kind of brilliance and lightness of touch, and yet such depth.
Yes, there's a gracefulness about how she did this.
Yes, absolutely. And it makes it maybe seem easier than it is, but that's a real feat. And great great depth of emotion, as well as a sort of lightness of comics touch. And it's really an amazing performance, and I hope that it's recognized as such.
It's just a brilliant series as well. What do you think audiences will pull from it when they watch it?
I don't know. I felt when reading the book that it was sort of about everything. It's about, life and love and romantic love and whether or not the big questions about whether or not one should live one's life as if there's no tomorrow and hurling oneself with experience, or whether one should be more careful and observant and considered in one's approach. And I think that it gets at the heart of all of it, and also the questions about motherhood and what it is to be a good mother and a not such a good mother. And it's very honest and sort of searing in its approach, but it's also very funny and forgiving, and you feel kind of forgiven reading the book. So I wanted people to feel forgiven watching the show too, and also to just be entertained.
Is it difficult to direct yourself?
Very impossible. I'm never going to do that again. I recommend it. Oh, it was awful. I'm so pleased I did. I kept trying to fire myself in the run up to the show. I kept telling the producers, there's no way I can do this. It's absurd. It's just ridiculous. I can't be in it as well as all the other things I'm doing. And they wouldn't let me. And then when I was acting, I just didn't show up for either. Mainly it was Emily Beecham, who was my fellow actor in the scenes, then I was the bolter, and I was totally not present for her and equally not present for any of the crew. I was just a sort of like rabbit caught in the headlights. Yeah, it's like doing this. It's sort of, impossible.
Well, you
No.
just did that, so
I did actually, yes, and maybe it's not impossible, but very challenging.
it is challenging. But will you be stepping behind the camera more and more? Because I think you're a brilliant director. I think you being an actress makes you a better director.
Oh, well, I did think that as I stood there sometimes on the set thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I hope I do know what I'm doing, but I feel at times that I don't. But then I kept thinking, I have actually stood on a lot of sets in my life. I'm quite old now, and I've done a lot of movies, and I've been directed by some of the great directors. And so, from Martin Scorsese on, and I feel like I have picked up something along the way, I guess, and I really did enjoy it. And I've always been very interested in storytelling. I studied English literature as for my degree. I'm a reader, and I feel like I have a kind of interest in the business of telling stories, and that's what you do as an actor, as well as a writer, as well as a director. And so, in a way, those roles aren't too far away from each other. And I would love to do it again. I really enjoyed it. I feel very kind of, it feels like it's not about me as an actor. It's so about you somehow. And it's very hard to not divorce yourself from the whole thing. And when you're directing, you're sort of behind the scenes, empowering everybody else and trying to get this story told in the best way possible, but it feels somehow separate from you. But then, of course, it comes out and you realize this is all about me. If this is bad, then it's definitely my fault. But no, I really enjoyed it, and I hope that I get given the chance to do it again.
Keep doing it, because you're really good at
it. Keep Tony.
Emily, it's a pleasure always to talk with you. You've got a great spirit.
You too. I'm really happy to be chatting to you, and I hope we will again one day soon.